Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode number 13. Our special guest for today is Mona. Mona, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. My name is Mona Council. I'm a fourth year PhD candidate at Queen University in Canada, and I'm doing a PhD in chemical engineering at the moment.
Awesome. So let's start from the very beginning. What high school did you go to and in what country?
Okay, so I studied in Lebanon, Beirut. My high school was St. George School, and it's like it's a high school in one of Beirut suburbs, basically.
Awesome. And what experiences did you have during your high school which influenced you to study the program that you study at university?
So I went to chemical engineering university, and back in high school, I was pretty good at chemistry, but I knew I didn't want to do chemistry, so I thought, maybe chemical engineering. But I grew to learn that chemical engineering has nothing to do with chemistry, and we're going to talk about this maybe later on. Maybe I could tell everybody what the difference is between chemistry and chemical engineering. But this was actually pushed me into pursuing a degree in chemical engineering, just my passion and love to chemistry.
Oh, awesome. Did you had any special experiences in your high school which kind of influenced you more to choose chemical engineering in university?
I wouldn't say that. I think when you're choosing engineering, first thing you have to assess: do I like math? Do I like physics? Do I like the a basic fundamental of solving complex problems? If you like that, you might be good at engineering. So these are the things that came to mind when I was deciding on the major. And yeah, I do have a passion and for sciences.
Awesome. And then when you transition into university, what are some stuff that you saw that are completely different from high school? And what are the challenges you faced and how did you overcome them in your first year?
Mhm. I think first thing that I've noticed is that when you transition to university from high school, especially when you go to top universities in the region, you realize that you're not the best anymore. Like if you come from high school and you were like one of the top students in class, well, you're moving to university with all these top students around you. And this might hit you hard because, oh, okay, so now I have to push even harder to be distinguished and be special and get to where I want. So it's definitely the competition that I've noticed, first thing that I've noticed, but you definitely get used to it and you pick up your pace and you just enter the competition eventually, you know?
Awesome. And what are some, I would say, some steps or some like some measures you took to adapt to university?
I would say, first thing, I had to manage my time, because also at university, nobody tells you you have to study. You don't have homework. You do have homework, but really nobody's after you finishing your assignment and studying for classes. So it's you and your time, and you have to come up with a plan on how to study everything, finish everything on time, and be on top of all the basically uh, lessons or the even the chapters in each single class. So you have to be on top of everything. Time management is key.
Oh, nice. And how did your upper years at university change? Like moving past the first year, how did you find the courses changing, the assignments, and even the hands-on experiences?
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm talking specifically about chemical engineering. I felt as years passed by, classes became easier. It might be because at the beginning you're not used to the system and it just becomes easier because you're used to the system, or really maybe they're just easier. I think they're just easier because at the beginning you take very fundamental general classes. They're not even teaching you what chemical engineering is. You just have to you have to go through calculus 3, you have to go through physics, chemistry classes, things that you don't really enjoy. You might really not really enjoy. But eventually, when you enter third year and fourth year of chemical engineering, this is where you get to learn about the softwares that chemical engineers use, and you are given real life case studies to solve. And this is where you start to work even on your final year project, which is a real life a chemical engineering problem that you have to solve and come up with a plan for. So I think it's even more fun in the last 2 years of engineering. Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Since the life of the student, of a university student, is not only about courses and assignments, there's also a social aspect to it. So how did you manage that social aspect, moving from small class sizes in high school to large class sizes in university?
Mm-hmm. Definitely at the beginning, I tried my best to participate in societies and clubs that are open in our university. But I have to say, I didn't do the best job. And if I have to go back, or even if I have to advise for new people entering university, um, definitely participate in more activities, more events about university. These are years that are not going to come back. So it's not only about studying, it's not only about grades, because even when you travel, you notice, okay, when you've already trained your social aspect in your undergrad study, it's going to be easier for you to transition to the outside world, especially if you're traveling. So definitely focus on your extracurriculars, because they will enhance and develop your skills.
Oh, awesome. And how did you maintain your physical and mental well-being during university?
I'm I wouldn't say I maintained it. It wasn't an easy time. I have to say, undergrad was a bit stressful. It was stressful. It was tough at the beginning. It got easier with time, especially when you make friends. When you make friends, it becomes easier because you have people there so that share the same experiences as you, and you hang out with after classes. But I would say the best thing to do is, again, I would go back to the point of time management. I'm not saying, oh, dedicate every single week, dedicate an hour every single week to do something. That might not be manageable for you, but definitely every semester be active in one club at least, or one society that you're interested in, so that it keeps your mind off the other stressful stuff that come with university.
Yeah, for sure. And what did you do after you graduated from university?
So I have to say, before I graduated, and this is one of the reasons I came to Canada, I decided I want to do an internship, and that was through my third year of the chemical engineering. I decided I want to go for a summer internship, and I chose Canada because I knew I wanted to move to Canada later on. So I applied for an internship at Queen's University, a research summer internship, and I got the opportunity to come here. So when I was an undergrad, I came to Canada to Queen's University, and I stayed here for 3 months, and I did a research internship.
Oh,
Uh,
nice. And what are some challenges you faced when moving to a new country like Canada with new culture, new language, and new community?
mhm. So you mean when I did the internship, right? Or later
Yeah,
on when I did my grad? Okay.
yeah.
So it was, I have to say, coming here for an internship did pave the way for me to come for graduate studies. So there were some hardships that I faced when I moved here as an intern, because first, I had no expectations. I didn't even know what research is. Like literally, I've never done research. I'm glad that I came here for this opportunity, because I wouldn't have uh, built this passion for research if it wasn't for that internship. So one of the hardships I would say is just coming to a very foreign place. You don't know any, especially if you don't know anybody here. And that was my case back then. I didn't know anybody in Canada. I was living by myself in Kingston, where university is. And it's definitely a push. It's definitely out of your comfort zone. And this is where they tell you, when you're out of your comfort zone, this is where amazing things happen. So I had to push myself to meet people, to also do a good job at what I'm doing in university, try to prove myself, impress people around me. And I wouldn't say that language was an issue for me, because I mean, I come from American University of Beirut, and English is my second language. So English language wasn't an issue for me. And I have to say, Canada is a very good place for foreigners, for people transitioning here and trying to live here. People are super friendly here. The quality of life is great, and there's always resources there to help you.
Oh, awesome. And how was your first day at the internship? I know it must have been a very overwhelming thing, especially stepping into research, something which you didn't have prior experience in. So how was your first day?
I would say I had an amazing supervisor, so he definitely made my first day very easy. He actually took it easy on me. He showed me around campus, showed me all the facilities. He showed me Kingston. We have a beautiful lake in Kingston. So it wasn't really about, oh, you have to this is what you have to do now and this is your schedule. No, it was just me seeing the town basically, and I'm grateful for my supervisor, my colleagues that helped with that.
Oh, nice. And how was your typical day at the internship? What are some tasks you did, and what was the project you worked on?
Mhm. So back then I worked on a, a project related to processing, plastics manufacturing. And back then I was still learning how to collect data, do literature review, even draw figures, which I wasn't an expert at. I mean, back in university, I used to draw figures maybe on Excel. But I learned a lot about coding on MATLAB. So many soft skills were developed back in that internship.
Oh, awesome. And how do you feel your internship prepared you for your graduate school?
It's it, the internship. The internship by itself, first of all, introduced me to what research is. I knew, okay, this is what I'm expecting if I decide to do graduate studies. And the internship allowed me to fall in love in a new country. So I fell in love in Canada, and I knew I wanted to come back here. So I wanted to come back here first for graduate studies, and I wanted to come back here to just live in this country. So the internship did give me these two chances, basically.
Oh, awesome. And how was your path after the internship?
So after the internship, I went back to Lebanon to complete my bachelor's degree. I graduated in June 2018, chemical engineering, and then I came back to Canada to the same university, and I did a master's degree with the same supervisor I did an internship with, Professor Jeffrey Jackanen. And my plan was to do my master's and then move on to the workforce, but that didn't happen. When I started my master's, I worked on a polymer processing, a couple of polymer processing projects, but and then I graduated, and I just felt I didn't get enough of it, and I felt, you know what, I want to invest 3 to 4 more years to my knowledge, and 3 4 years are nothing like compared to 40 years of career. So I'll get the chance to work all my life. Let me now invest in what I really want to learn more about.
Yeah, for sure. That's very inspiring. How would you compare your PhD program to your master's program?
So my master's program was pretty short. I did a condensed master's program. So I finished my master's in 10 months. I know it sounds very quick for some people, but I decided I want to do my courses and my research. I want to do them both at the same time. So it was all, I would say it was more focused on coursework than research. But when I entered PhD, this is where the serious research began. Like, all you have to focus on is research. All you have to focus on is innovation, coming up with new ideas, and doing research full time. I would say in my master's, I didn't do it full time. It was along with other courses and stuff.
Oh, awesome. And how does your typical day in a PhD look like?
Before I start, so let me just maybe tell people what I do in my PhD so that they know what type of work I do and how I facilitate that into my typical day. So I'm a chemical engineer, and I work in a field called rheology. Rheology is a study of molten flow, and we study objects that are objected or subjected into fluids and motion. And currently, I've been, for the past 3 years since COVID hit, I've been studying coronavirus. And I know a lot of people find it weird, like, how are you studying coronavirus? You're an engineer. But it's amazing that mathematics, there are many mathematical tools that are super powerful that enable us to study the movement of COVID in the blood. So for example, imagine that if you have an object in a flow or in a fluid, this is a mathematical equation by itself. So COVID in blood does have its own mathematical equation and mathematical representation, and this is what I study. So I do a lot of theoretical work. So I basically work from home. And this is where also I have to manage my own time. When you're doing PhD, you're the boss of yourself. So my typical day is I try to stick to a 9 to 4, 9 to 5 type of schedule, do meetings, finish whatever research task I have to do for the day. And I would say it's a pretty flexible lifestyle. Again, it might go wrong if you want to be very flexible and let things go out of control. But if your time is managed, PhD, I think PhD is the best life, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. So going through a research journey, like the majority of people who do research go through ups and downs, especially when the research hits some like time points where it's not producing results as they are expected, or even when new concepts come, like they face new concepts and they have to familiarize themselves with those concepts, especially with concepts from other disciplines. Like since you are a chemical engineer, concepts from biology, even IT would be you would be less familiar with those. So how would you deal with those?
I think that's pretty accurate, because especially when I dealt with the COVID research, I do like a lot of biology knowledge. I think even if you go on a literature search and you read as much paper as you can, I don't think that's enough, especially if that's not your field. So this is where collaborations come in place. And I think collaborations are super helpful, super useful, and super powerful. And I encourage all PhD students to seek collaborations with the people from different disciplines. In all my research papers on COVID, I've collaborated with physicists, with mathematicians, with biologists, and this collaboration by itself gave me the opportunity to have knowledge from experts in the field. And this is where like ideas emerge, and we come up with a great project together.
Oh, that's very much collaborative. Nice. So a central, I would say a central aspect of research is basically communicating the findings that you got to your supervisor, to other researchers at the conference. So how would you go when you have to communicate those findings and present them to your audience?
I would say practice and do it as much as you can, even if you feel you're not a great presenter, you just have to do it. So try to participate in conferences if, of course, your time allows for it and the financial aspect allows for it. And you just have to practice and train yourself in front of your colleagues first, your lab mates. Try to present weekly progress presentations in front of them, and this is gonna unconsciously build your confidence and build your public speaking skills, and will make you a better presenter.
Awesome. And reflecting back on your journey to PhD and to success, what are some advices you would give to high school students and university students?
I would say I would give university and high school students different advices. I think in high school, don't feel the pressure to know which major you love, because you might pick a major that you're not in love with, but that's fine as well. So for university students, if you fall into that and you feel that you're stuck in a major you dislike, there's always a way to use whatever knowledge you learn, and especially if it's too late for you to transfer, there's always a way. There's all these brilliant people out there that have that done amazing things and have discovered amazing things, and their bachelor's degree didn't really do much with it or isn't really related. So just look at university years as years where you're developing your personality, you're developing yourself to become the truer version of yourself, rather than, okay, I'm just going to become a physicist or a chemist. No, you're becoming a grown individual with confidence, and you're just ready to ace the world.
Oh, awesome. Actually, one thing that hinders people from studying abroad is the financial aspect, the financial burden. So what are some advices you would give to people who are interested in studying abroad, but are like they have the financial aspect as an obstacle?
So if people are, so for the students planning to join graduate studies, what's great about Canada is that most Canadian institutions do offer a stipend. But I know the competitive part about this is landing funded position with in research groups. So for that, you'll have to reach out to as many professors as you can and ask them for if they have any vacancies in their labs. And many people, and just apply through university websites, and it worked for many people. And I don't think it's that hard. If you want it, you can do it. And once you come here, once you transition to graduate studies, there's a lot of external funding you can apply for, depending on if you're a master's or a PhD student. For example, I'm a Vanier Canada Scholar holder, and this is an external funding that was provided to me by the Canadian government. And there's many other funding resources as well students can look into.
Oh, awesome. Those are very helpful advices. Thank you, Mona, for sharing your journey with us.
Mm.
And thank you for being a guest speaker on my channel.
Thank you, Matsu.
Thank you.